All right, I am here with Ali from Zoho. We have some brand new news coming out of Zoho involving Zoho One, and we're going to talk with Ali about all of this and see what he has to say about it. All right, Ali, great to have you on. Um, why don't you start off by introducing yourself and telling what you do at Zoho?
Great to be here, Leland, and with your audience. My name is Ali Shabdar. I'm the Director of Strategic Growth at Zoho.
All right, thank you. So, from a small business perspective, what problems is Zoho trying to solve with this new major update to Zoho?
Um, Great question. And let me go back a little bit. It's been almost 8 years, full 8 years since we launched Zoho One. We had a number of products that each serve parts or entire parts of a function or an activity like sales, marketing, etc., etc. And we decided at some point to bundle these up for a number of reasons. Number one was to reduce complexity. One of the main issues of any business of any size, could be solopreneur to even an enterprise, is that we end up dealing with a lot of products, with a lot of software to solve our day-to-day problems or our long-term problems. The promise of technology was to make our lives easier, but in the past quarter of a century, I can remember that technology actually made things more complex in a lot of cases, which means we have to throw more technology and the existing technology to make it less complex. So Zoho One's promise is to remove that complexity by starting with bundling products together. And this bundle allows the user to have a singular view toward multiple functions that they might be dealing with. At the executive level, you're looking at your entire business almost live and seeing, being able to connect the dots from sales pipeline to your cash flow to your marketing activities, etc., depending on the size of your business. After 8 years of features and capabilities, one of the key tenets of our progress with Zoho One was to remove that complexity even more. So moving from a bundle of products, bundle of apps, to a unified platform. That unification, where the products talk to each other better and better. They're tightly integrated out of the box, so you don't need to worry about connecting cells to the finance function. It just works. And then that means that your data gets tighter and tighter, cleaner and cleaner. The data hygiene and data governance is also gets better. These are scary labels. SMBs might not worry about data governance, but what I mean is that you have all your data in the same place. We all know what single source of truth is. We want
Mhm.
to open one cupboard, one wardrobe, and have everything there. And that's what Zoho One is doing with your data, putting it all next to each other and giving it a context based on the lens you want to be looking at that entire system that is helping you to run your business. So it's been an evolution, again, from bundle to a unified platform where everything is connected and a small business goes back to what they need to do, working on their products and services, making their customers happy rather than dealing with connecting technology together and having what we call the spaghetti solution: multiple vendors, multiple products, multiple invoices, so many support teams. You just deal with Zoho, and that's about it.
Great. So, I mean, yeah, that's going to hopefully save small businesses a whole bunch of time, a whole bunch of money, and a lot of whole bunch of effort. So, diving into some of the changes that you've done, one aspect was in user experience and productivity. How many small businesses struggle with? Small business struggle with app overload. How does this new spaces concept simplify daily workflows for a small team?
Great question. Yeah. So again, moving towards the same direction, it is all about context and simplification, as you said. Now, I give you an example: a calendar. As any knowledge worker, regardless of who you are, you're the business owner, you're the CEO, you're one of the knowledge working team. You're doing sales, you're answering emails. calendar is an inseparable part of our lives. Without a calendar, I can't live an organized life at all. Now, if I'm a user working for, again, any company of any size, imagine I have my Zoho calendar where my meetings are, where the Zoho meeting links are going. Then there might be a calendar that comes from Zoho projects if I'm working on certain projects with a number of other team members, internal or external. If I'm collaborating with my own close team, I might have some Kanban lists, which are again with deadlines and all, as another calendar on Zoho Connect, and more and more and more. But all I care about is a calendar. I just want a view to my all my tasks, all my deadlines in one singular place.
Mhm.
So that Spaces allows you to basically bring all of those together and see everything from through one lens, the lens of calendar. Now, another uh, part of Spaces which I personally appreciate, and I could see on my day to day, it added to my productivity, is uh, the idea of having your personal space, if you will, and your organizational space. Like the way I live in my house, we have the living room, we have the kitchen, where this is more of a place of gathering. The rest of the family and friends, they are there. We converse, we do things, we cook together. And then there's the bedroom for it's a personal space, or there is my office, and then there's the bathroom, more, of course, more personal. So the division here into two major spaces, or the context or areas, if you will, of personal and organizational, allows me to quickly switch between click, connect, email, and my vault, where I keep my passwords, versus connect, versus projects, or expense management, which is more of an organizational thing. So again, same products, different lenses, which allows my subconscious mind to work faster and connect the dots better.
Mhm. Perfect. All right, moving on to action panels and quick navigation features. What practical gains might a small business owner see from these new features?
I think uh, the most visible improvement is the fact that they are more accessible, more visible, and organized in a more intuitive way. So you can, of course, make modifications, but everything boils down into better access to what you already have in a more logical way. It's more
Mhm.
organized.
Awesome. So dashboards can be overwhelming for a non-technical user. How does the new unified dashboard help a small business owner get actionable insights without needing a data analyst?
I hope no small business owner needs a dedicated data analyst, but that could be good news for expansion and scaling. But again, I'll go back to a point that I mentioned. It's again about context. By providing you, the user, with a clear context that is divided into concepts and ideas that our brain is more familiar with, tasks and deadlines, calendar, uh, data that is coming from different places. The context helps beyond just I don't want to say beyond our imagination, but it's surprising how putting things in different contexts helps you just see the data faster and make decisions quicker. So clarity is a result of that contextual look into the same data, and by clarity means that your errors are less. You'll make less mistakes, and you will be able to make better decisions. Of course, we can get carried away and still make those dashboards really complicated, but those are best practices that I would say we should start simple, small, seeing our messages, again, the tasks, and the data that is coming from, if you're using CRM, if you're using finance information, to put them in one dashboard where the data is kind of gelled into each other.
Perfect. So, Vani is a new tool. It was just announced last month. And we actually got to sit down with Arthi to be able to do an interview with that, and it seems like a really great tool. And it's been announced that it's been incorporated into Zoho One. So for small businesses with a distributed or hybrid team, what does Vani enable that they didn't have before? What what does it bring to the table for a small business?
I'm very glad that we added Vani to Zoho One. It's one of my favorite apps. I used it since pre-beta, uh, when it was still not quite stable. But now it has grown into a full-on product. Um, I'll tell you about our idea and why we added it, and also I'll share you my own experience as a user, not a user that works for a large company. This scenario also applies for smaller setups. Um, we did not have any tool in our Zoho One platform that allowed teams and even individuals to create content that was about ideate on content and collaborate. We use Writer, drafting things, collaborating live. Probably we use some, we get on meetings and all. But Vani allows you to create ideas, put them on digital paper. If you're doing a brainstorming session, with your team or with yourself, putting a diagram, a mind map. If you're working on a draft of your next invitation to your next event, or a flyer, you don't need fancy graphic design software. Especially if you're not a designer or you do not have designers because you have a small business. We actually do this. I've done this, and I'll share this in a moment. You can ideate on Vani, have as many collaborators as you want, and then do whatever you want with the output. We did not have such thing in Zoho One, so I think the addition makes Zoho One more complete in terms of helping teams work better with each other. And some of the practical examples, we have our internal magazine, Zoho Business Pulse, and I saw the team actually putting the draft design on Vani and sharing it with respective team members. We could have done this on some other expensive software which we have access to, but out of the box, because everybody is on Zoho One, and this, you could be a company of 10,000, 20,000, or company of five, because everybody has access to the same platform. You just share the document. You open a space on Vani, you ideate, you put your magazine ideas, and then me, as one of the members, I can go and share a comment about, can we move this a bit to the right, without even touching the content action. Leave a comment and get out. And whoever is in charge of that content, they can take my feedback, use it or not. This is their decision, of course. So, long story short, probably we added the best collaborative ideation tool that we have till date to Zoho One. Now, somebody might use Canva, somebody might use Miro, Visio. All of those are available. They have their own capabilities. Some of them are cool, really cool packages. But you're getting this product as a part of Zoho One. All you need to do is use it. You already are familiar with the interface. You're not paying anything extra, and it integrates with everything else as well.
Perfect. All right, so let's move on to native integrations and security. Small businesses often mix many tools together, leading to disjointed workflows. How does Zoho One's new approach to native integration help reduce that fragmentation?
This is an excellent point, and an overlooked, often overlooked point, because security, first of all, is not in the back of our mind. Second of all, we're usually not skilled enough, so we can just forget about it until something bad happens. Uh, we want to solve that challenge as much as possible for the user, for the customer, without getting them involved in the technicalities. So bringing native integrations to Zoho One is in line with that strategy. I'm sure you've seen the demo. in previous sessions of how Zoho Directory actually took everything to the next level. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. We're using it in the background as users. However, I saw all these features where you can integrate, of course, Zoho to Zoho products, no problem. Zoho to third-party products, still not a problem. But there's a much tighter grip on the security and how things work. And then third-party to third-party integrations. So you can bring both of your third-party products within Zoho Directory, which is underlying layer of Zoho One and the entire platform, and then make sure that you're on top of that integration and nothing bad happens there. Of course, there's a bit of Zoho admin knowledge needed, but you don't need to be an IT person. You don't need to be a data scientist for that matter. It's really intuitive. Just a quick look will logically explain everything to you, and
Mhm.
you'll be able to do those things. I think directory has grown leaps and bounds compared to how it was for the users even a week ago. The team has been working really hard on adding those features. Uh, One of them is what you mentioned, and that's integration and security.
Perfect. All right. So the press release that you guys put out mentioned unified portals. How is this different from traditional integration or dashboards, and what pain points does it solve for small teams?
I think again, it's about context. Probably I got ahead of myself earlier and went into the whole context idea. Um, until now, portals were there. Again, it looked to me as a user as a bundle of apps present together in an environment. Now I can easily find myself forgetting about those barriers between certain apps and just look at them as concepts. I want to do X. I want to check my day. I want to work on my projects. I want to work on my finance. So we moved from product focused workflows into context focused workflows, and the portals and the interface is trying to communicate that and drive that behavior for the users. Now mind you, this is the best version we can come up with so far, but I'm sure that our users, starting today, we officially launched it, are going to come back to us with a lot of comments and tell us how it can be improved. We can't wait to hear from our users and our partners how that we can take this to the next level.
All right, perfect. All right, and final question in the native integration and security. So we have smart offboarding, which sounds particularly useful to SMBs that lack a robust IT department. How would this feature uh, protect small businesses during employee transitions?
Another favorite feature of mine. Um, I remember probably 5 or 6 years ago, I was talking with a customer who had multiple different products. They were using a couple of Zoho products, but most of their stack was outside Zoho, and they did not use Zoho One. And they realized one of their marketers who departed, left the organization almost a year before. Of course, they removed their access from their email, the first call. So obvious thing is okay, remove the access to email and CRM, but they still had access to the entire marketing stack, including the Facebook accounts and other things. Thankfully, nothing bad happened, but you don't want to wake up one day and see that somebody had access to your speaker phone, which is your marketing channel, or to your financial information. Now, Zoho One again tries to reduce that risk by allowing you to just disable one user account, and boom, 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 the access is gone from all the products. This was existing.
Hmm.
But now, if you open the Zoho One, in the back end, in the admin space, you can see offboarding. You start the offboarding process. It takes you through a checklist of of course, removing app access, software access, changing the reporting structure. Imagine if the person was a manager and a couple of other people were reporting to the person. You can choose the new reporting structure,
Mhm.
a bunch of other settings. And uh, I need to remember how many, probably more than 10 different items in that checklist where you slowly remove everything, you're terminating their accesses and all of that.
Hmm.
And of course, all the legal considerations also happen in that space. So you make sure that the person is offboarded in the best way possible, hopefully in good terms, so you can have a good conversation, log all the experience as well, and making sure that there is not a single gap left when the person is moved on from your organization. It's the admin space is really great, really intuitive.
All right, that sounds very useful and really good when it comes to security, especially when if an employee doesn't leave on good terms, you want to make sure that they can't cause any damage on their way out.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on to Zia and your AI. Small teams typically work across multiple apps, email, CRM, documents. How does Zia help unify this data so they spend less time searching and more time acting?
Right out of the box, because you're using Zoho One, which means all the apps, all the products are integrated. When you open Ask Zia text box and you ask any question, it'll pull data from across your entire stack. So if you're checking, um, tell me more about Ali. The data is pulled from CRM. If I'm your contact, if we had some ongoing deals in the past year or so, if there are notes about what kind of prospect I was. If I'm a customer, it pulls data from desk where it can show you some of the recent tickets. If I'm an employee or a contractor, it can pull data from HR, from projects. So you get an almost immediate full picture about the question you have to the system. Of course, you can pull data, pull information that rely on data about sales seasonalities and sales data and analytics and all of that. But to me, if I wanna, let's say I'm about to get on a call with you, and I don't remember much because the last time we spoke was 3 months or 6 months ago, or somebody handed over your account to me, I'm just gonna ask, tell me more about Leland, and it's going to give me whatever information we have about you. And the good thing is not only it's pretty accurate today, but also it's learning more and more and more. So it's not just one snapshot in the history. So if I ask the same question 2 weeks from now, and if there's a development in our relationship from the point of data, then the information will be different. So and I think in the past couple of years, most of us have learned to talk to AI more or less. It is in English, but sometimes we have to be more specific to come up with the prompt. I see Zia to be quite forgiving when it comes to writing a prompt. It understands you fairly easily. You don't have to really get very regimented in formulating your sentence. Again, productivity.
Nice. Yeah, that really does sound nice, not being having to open up 50 different apps to get 50 different pieces of information and then bring them together manually or anything like that. Just having Zia pull it out automatically just sounds like a dream.
Absolutely.
All right. So wrapping it up, with these updates, where do you see Zoho One heading in the next few years, especially in supporting small business growth?
Our focus is small businesses, multi-medium businesses, especially when it comes to development of Zoho One features, and we want to make sure Zoho One gets out of the way of the customers to use it as much as possible. The best technology is invisible technology. So if you can open the environment, if it's a spaces in 5 years or is something else, um, or if it's constantly, on call to listen to you, to be able to not only answer your questions, give your data in the best way possible, visually clarity, visual clear, and all of that, but also become more and more proactive, and kind of tap on your shoulder and remind you of things, the things that you don't know, and the things that you didn't know that you did not know. So I think, again, simplification, more context. Uh, in the age of AI, the focus on human-computer interface is even more, because the lines are blurring. We are entering an age where we are literally talking to our computers, to our machines, and where our workspace is becoming hybrid. By hybrid, I'm not talking about remote work. I'm talking about having digital colleagues, digital employees, where probably my copywriter, my social media marketer, or a bunch of other people are actually agents. So we are moving towards that space with Zia agents, with Ask Zia, with Zia as a whole, empowering the entire platform. Today, if I want to use the overused iceberg cliche, you see the tip of Zia. A lot of it is hidden with the things it does in the background. It's been doing for a long time before LLM advent, and we want to keep it that way. We want Zia to be there when you need it, but do a good bunch of things in the background and help you more and more to focus on what matters, doing your business and scale it.
Sounds perfect. I can't wait to see what comes next. I've got to dive into what you've got put out now, a little bit for myself. But it's very interesting to see where Zoho is going with Zoho One, and you're just adding more and more to it, making it such a good value, especially at, what was it, $37 per person, I think it is.
It is.
Yeah, I got that
It's
right.
it's insane. It's insane.
It is insane. That's less than like $1 an app. But perfect. Thank you for coming on. That's all that I got for you. And yeah, thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.